stand with us this morning? How many have come this morning to see God do something? How many have come have God do something for you this morning? You come to the right place. Well, before we start, I got something that's extremely important that has to be taken care of. Sister Barb, tell them what happened.
We had the salvation this morning in Sunday school. Do I name names?
No.
Jasmine.
My granddaughter.
Jasmine received Jesus.
Now, if that don't get you ready to worship, I don't know what will. Praise God. Praise God. Well, I'll tell you what, God is good. And that's good to be here. It's good to have Melvin with us this morning. Melvin Beavers and Mary. And me and Melvin grew up together. My dad's church together. So good to have him this morning. It's good to have Biz with us this morning. Cindy's daughter. My other kid. One of my other kids that heard here this morning. Do you feel the presence of the Lord in this place already? I feel it. I feel God is going to do some things this morning. Good to have Brother Russell come in this morning. Good to have you, brother. And he come to Brother Jennings, and he said he's going to make this his home church, and we're going to pray for him. And, well, I'll tell you what, there's no telling what God's going to do in this service this morning. I'm telling you, I am so hyped up at what God is doing. One of the most awesome conferences I have been to in years, where the power of God just moved and lives were changed and the words were spoken over different ones. God reassured me and the church in that meeting on Friday night, we're going to grow. God said, you built the building and you made the place, but you're going to build more than that.
He said, Brother Russell, I
It's
had to
going
look
to
to
go.
see if it was James Russell.
And I'm standing on that promise. Just remember, Sister Bertha's daughter and son-in-law, they were in an accident last night, totaled out their car, and both of them weren't hurt seriously, but they are injured and they're suffering this morning. We need to pray for them. Just remember Sister Timmons this morning. She's needs our prayers. She's I think she feels like she's winding down. Almost 94 years old, and she's winding down, and she's getting ready to go to be with the Lord. But just pray for her, and just pray for Brother Joe. Anybody else? Sister Joseph.
So my second son, Ricky, he lost the job.
Yes.
Remember, Don, we can't hardly move because I worked too hard over the weekend. But he's going to have to go back and see cancer.
Let us pray that they'll find no cancer.
Yes, amen.
My friend, the one that you prayed for, Basel Hospital, well, her niece went to visit her, and they were getting ready to move her to the new place. And so they left for the day, and she called them, and she was yelling at them, "Why aren't you here with me?" And my friend says, "Well, my Vanjie is back." Praise God for that.
Yes, thank God. God's moving us. Let's remember all those that was in Brother Ricky's service on Thursday night. A lot of people there that was unsaved. A lot of saved people, but there was a lot of them that heard the word. Let's pray somehow that it will go deep into their hearts and touch them. And let's remember Sister Angie's brother. I told you I was going to make a friend out of him. I've made a friend out of him, and also her Jason, her daughter's fiance. Now I pray that I can reach on down into their souls and win them to the Lord. Let's go before the Lord in prayer. Father, we just come before you this morning. Father, it's a grateful heart. Father, we come this morning to lift you up and to give you praise, God. Father, we bring these requests before you today. Father, we know that you know every need we have. You know everyone that is sick. You know everyone that is struggling, God. Everyone that has a financial need, God. God, you know the needs, Lord. We pray today, God. God, that you bring them. God, we pray for Sister Terry, God. Oh, God, we just ask and pray her before you today, God. Father, we bring this service before you, God. God, we want your will and your way to be done in this service this morning, God. Father, we're just going to give you praise, God. Father, we're going to give you glory. We're going to give you honor, God. In Jesus' name, God. Father, we give you praise right now.
Now you're going to have to reach back into your memory and find the words of this song. And I know everybody will know the chorus. And we're going to sing the first verse and the chorus of I'll Be Somewhere Listening. Because if you're not listening, you won't hear the trumpet. And you got to be listening for it. Kathy said this song isn't even in CCI anymore, and that's the thing that has all the music for all the church people. But if we know it, and I'm going to sing the first verse because I know that one. I don't know the rest of it, but I got the first verse. Richard's going to find this song. Well, neighbors are kind. I love them everyone. it was the blood. I know it was the blood. I know it was the blood for me. One day when I was lost, He died upon the cross. It was the blood for me. Yes, I know it was the blood. I know it was the blood. It was the blood for me. I was lost, He died upon that cross. It was the blood for me. All right, you may be seated, Brother Lenny and Brother John. Brother John. All right, now, well, you guys are getting awful comfortable there. So, let me tell you something. We need to all stand up. Let's all stand. And how many has got that thing called victory in their soul? Amen. Are we a victors? Amen. I gotta say this. We laughed about this, and those people who were at the funeral will know. I think it was that your brother? Brother, the guy that played the piano?
Ricky's ex-father.
Ricky's ex-father-in-law. And he said, I'm really nervous. And that lady asked him something, and he said, I got nervouser. I've never heard that word before. But he was good. And you know what? All those songs were in Spanish. But you know what you could do? You could feel the Spirit. You felt it. You know? And that's what I like to do. I like to feel the Spirit. Because one of these days, we're going to join Ricky in the band. We're going to all be up there. We're going to all be singing Glory, Glory, Hallelujah when I lay my burdens down, or whatever is on their heart. We're going to sing that because there's going to be a meeting in the air, and I plan on going. All right? You have to put your hands together, and don't make me stop. Okay? Well, there's going. Well, I'll
I'll tell you what, folks,
Come and die.
God is good. You know what? There's a table set before Him that has on there anything that we need.
Amen.
I said it has anything on there that we need.
Hallelujah.
I don't care what it is.
Thank you, Lord.
God laid this on my heart. We're gonna sing this song. They are. They're gonna sing this song, "Come and Dine," and I want you to think about the words. Jesus is calling us to come to the Master's table.
Hallelujah.
I said He's calling us to come to the Master's table.
Glory.
And my mother used to always tell us. My mother was from the south, from Oklahoma, and you know when she cooked a meal, she cooked a meal. I never sit down at my mother's table unless times were really thin, when there was only 2 items on the table. If times were really thin, then there might just be some fried potatoes and bread or whatever. But when times were good, the table was filled. And she would call us all in, and here's what she would say. If you go away hungry, it is your fault. Because the table is spread. The banquet table is spread this morning with whatever you need. It's there.
Thank you, Lord.
I said it's there.
Hallelujah.
It's there. And it is being made accessible to you and I. I want them to sing this song, "Come and Dine," and I want you to just picture in your mind that you're going to the banquet table. Close your eyes and begin to focus that you are going to a banquet table. And when you get there, you are going to fill your plate with whatever you want, whatever you like. And when you walk away, you're going to be filled to overflowing with the things from God. That you won't walk away hungry. You won't walk away wanting. My mother, there's very few times that I ever walked away. In fact, I can't remember ever leaving my mother's table hungry. Because when I got there and it was something that I liked, I would eat and eat and eat. You will not find anything on the Master's table that is not good. You're not going to find any broccoli up there. Or I won't. You ain't going to find any asparagus up there. You ain't going to find no cooked peas and carrots. I'm not going to find those on the Master's table. But what I'm going to find is the things that I need, the things that I need in my heart, in my life, in my spirit, in my body. That's what I'm going to find that I need. But whatever's on that table is good. Now you might like all those things. I take my hat off to you. I don't. Brother John, would you sing that?
Jesus had the table spread, where the saints of God are led. He invites His chosen people right now. That's why every day it's time to go. Jesus, Master God, Jesus, all the time.
Thank you, worship team. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to read a card here in just a bit, but I'm just going to go ahead and go into my scripture. As God began to lay this on my heart, and I think sometimes we don't realize that every time we enter through the presence of the Lord, the table is spread. I said every time we enter into the presence of God, the table is spread. Every time we come to church, the table is spread. God has the table spread. And my mother used to hate to throw away leftovers. And she just hated to throw, she would not throw them away. We would get them later.
Hallelujah.
So you may have had this dinner before, but you're going to get it again. She hated to throw it away. And the table would always be spread. And we're going to look from Luke chapter 14, reading from Luke. And I want to tell you something this morning. There's nothing impossible with the God that we serve.
That's right.
I'm going to say that again. I don't think you heard it. I said there is nothing impossible with the God that we serve. We can have from God what we want, folks. We can have from God what we want. And oftentimes we come in hungry and we leave hungry. Oftentimes we come to church hungry and we leave hungry. Because we won't go to the table and eat. I'm one of these guys. I'm not what you call a social butterfly. I do okay around people that I know I'm great. But don't take me out of my element. Don't take me out of my element. I get invited to places and I'll go there and they'll be doing things. Well, won't you do this? Nah, I'm not hungry. I'm okay. And I've been to some lot of places and I've seen a lot of tables spread and I've seen a lot of good food and I have left hungry. Not because it wasn't prepared. Not because it wasn't made available. And it certainly wasn't because I was not invited to partake. But I chose just to step back. I'm okay. You want something to drink? No. I just had something. And I usually do. I mean, I always carry something in the truck with me. But now, it was some tea or some water, pop, something. No, I'm good. Yeah. And I step back. Listen. There's no strangers around the Master's table. I said, there's no strangers around the Master's table. There's no reason to back away and not partake of what you need from God. But I thought about this as I began to study this week, and it said in the 12th verse of the 14th chapter of Luke, saying, Jesus also said to the man who had invited him, when you give a dinner or a supper, do not invite your friends or your brothers, your relatives, or your wealthy neighbors, lest perhaps they also invite you in return. And so you be paid back. But when you give a banquet or a reception, invite the poor, the disabled, the lame, and the blind. You know what he said? I began to study that, and I thought, you know what he's saying? Don't invite all of those that has everything that they need. Don't go out and get all of those that has everything that they need. Don't go out and search out all those people that you want to hang out with. But go out and find those that are hurting. Find those that are in need. Find those that need it the most. Jesus has a table spread, and He doesn't have it spread for fame and for fortune and for His rich friends and for those in high places. But He has the table spread for those that are in need. He has the table spread for those that are in sin, that need salvation. He has the table spread for those that need divine healing in their body. He has those tables spread for those that need to be delivered from addictions. The table is spread, and it is spread for for those that have just sat on the seat maybe and they've gone cold in their soul and they need to be refreshed. It's on the table, friend. It's set before thee that we might partake and participate in that supper and receive what we need from God. I'm telling you, the presence of God has been here so many times. The table has been spread and we sit and we look and we think about how good it would be to go down there. We sit and we look and we watch and we go, wow, look at them people down there. Oh, they look like they're having such a good time. I would like some of that. I'd like to, but we sit and we walk out hungry. We walk out lacking what we need from God because, well, that person's down there all the time. They must be a real pig. And you know what? Then call me a pig because I'm going to eat from the blessings of God. I'm going to eat from the Master's table. I'm going to stay full of what I need from God. I've been with people that embarrass me. It's like, would you stop eating? And everybody knows they come with me. And they just don't stop. They just almost like cramming it in both hands full. Like, please. I go away hungry and they go away full. I get in the car thinking, wow, that looked pretty good. I'll get in the car thinking, you know, they had on there just what I want. I really like that. But because of my pride, I held back and I thought, well, I won't do that. Listen. A lot of people are held back by their pride. They're too proud to get up because they feel like if they walk down and kneel at the altar, someone might think bad of them. Well, I got news for you. That's where the table is spread. That's where the food is at. This is where the blessings of God is. This is where salvation is. This is where the baptism of the Holy Ghost is. This is where your healing comes from. It's when you step out by faith and you walk down the aisle and you say, God, here I am. I'm hungry. I need something from you. Fill me, God, fill me. And at the end of the service, he has to hack it all up. Let me tell you something. God does not like spreading a table before his people. He does not like leftovers. Because if there's leftovers, he knows somebody did not eat. If there's leftovers, he knows there's somebody that didn't come to the table to eat. And he knows that somebody is leaving hungry. Somebody's leaving with something that they need. Somebody's leaving sick because they didn't come to the altar to be healed. Somebody is leaving lost without him because they didn't come to the table of salvation. Somebody is leaving powerless because they didn't come to the altar and receive the baptism of the Holy Ghost. Are you with me this morning? The table is spread. It's set in splendor. And everything that you need is on that table. But you've got to come to get it. Amen. My mom never brought me one meal in my entire life. If I was sick, she would walk me to the table, but she did not bring me a meal. She didn't. If you want it, you come and get it. You see, God knows what you need. My mom knew what I needed. But she said, you know something, if you want it, you will come get it. I have prepared it.
Thank you, Lord.
And sometimes she would remind us about how long she had been cooking. And she would remind us sometimes of how long it took to make one dish and all the effort that she put into it. Jesus paid the price on the cross of Calvary with the stripes on his back, with the shedding of his blood, as he set the table before us that we might have from God what we need. He said, look, he said, I want you to go and I want you to get the home. Oh, listen, I'm going to tell you something. Have you ever walked into a restaurant and they go to seat you? Stay with me. Here. Don't deny it if you've done it. I have. And they go to seat you at the table and you get a glimpse of the people at the table next to you. And you politely say, do you have a table somewhere else? Jesus said, beware of that. He said, beware of that. Listen, I seen a young man the other night in church. Got to talk to him afterwards. He played the bass guitar. And he was doing this. I mean, he never missed a lick. He's bouncing around there like a big old bear. Big old round little chubby guy, you know, real arms, short arms, and I mean, but he's just bouncing. Oh, little boy during worship. He'd just stop and he'd do this and he'd just pick up playing. And I asked Hannah. I said, Hannah, she goes, what? I said, you taking some lessons on how to play your bass guitar in church? She goes, no, Grandpa, I don't do that. But I got to talking to him, I got to looking, and here he is, he's got big old earrings in both ears. He's tattooed from head to toe. Listen, stay with me. He's one of those type that if he'd have been in a lot of churches, they'd have said, oh, he's at that table, I'm going over here. Come on. He was raised in that church. That pastor was his youth leader. But he fell into problems. And he ended up in Kingman, at one of our facilities in Kingman, for 4 years. Give his heart to the Lord. He said, we didn't have a chaplain that would do anything for us, so he said, I just fell on my knees in my cell and gave my heart to God. And he said, I finally went to the warden and said, can we have church? He said, when I left there, he said, we finally had a chaplain and got a church in to help us up. But he said, we had 100 strong every service. I got to talking to him and I thought, oh man. Oh, heaven forbid. Come on. Heaven forbid we have dinner with him. Oh, we have dinner with him. Somebody might think, oh, well, I wonder what they're up to. Come on. I did too. I hugged his neck, boy. I told him, I said, listen. I said, I know you're warden down there. Amen. I said, I knew him. And I said, he's a good guy. I said, I met your chaplain, the first one. And then the second one. I said, your first one was all about religion. The second one was about salvation. Big difference. And where did he find his peace? He found it at the table. And when he went to the table, he found people there that liked him, that didn't care what he looked like. And now he's saved, filled with the baptism of the Holy Ghost, playing and singing on the worship team, serving God and winning others to the Lord. Why? Because they went to the table and said, he told him, he said, don't you invite your rich friends over here. But Jesus told this guy, don't invite your rich friends over here. They may not like the others. But he said, invite the poor, the disabled, the lame, the blind, and then you will be blessed, happy, fortunate, and to be envied, because they have no way of repaying you. Listen, what you get at the banquet table, God does not require you to pay him anything for it. All he requires of you is your love and your service and your devotion to him. He does not expect anything in return except your devotion to him. Listen, you can't buy your way into heaven. You can't buy what's on the table. You can't buy it with money. You can't buy it with popularity. You can't buy it with fame. What's set at the Master's table is set there in love. It is prepared in love. It was bought by the blood of Jesus Christ, and it's there, and it's offered for each and every one of us to have, and all we have to do is be willing to take that step and go to that altar and pray, God, give me what I need.
Yes.
The last message my mom preached before she passed away, I'll never forget. I've got it at the house on a cassette player somewhere, cassette tape somewhere. But she stood and she preached her heart out. And tears run down her face, and she made an altar call, and people just sat there, and my mom was, she usually didn't say, but finally at the end of her service, she said, I'm going to tell you, I've got to be straight with you. I've got to be just outright straightforward with you. You have sat in here night after night after night. She said, when everything that you need is at this altar, and you come night after night after night, altar call after altar call, opportunity after opportunity, and you sit, and you will not walk down to the altar. You will not come forward, and you will walk away tonight the same way you came in, and before the week's over, I will hear about all of your problems, when all you have to do is bring them to an altar of repentance, an altar before God, and God will take care of it. Amen. And she said, instead, you sat there night after night. Some of you have been sick for years, and you have yet to come. You know why? The table was set. And when she dismissed that service, do you know not one of those people come to the front to be prayed for? They all left just like they came. Now, I have been invited to a few places to eat dinner. And they had some of those things on the table that I talk about. And that's what most of the meal was. And I looked at that. I said, Lord, I don't want to embarrass them. I don't want to embarrass myself. But you know I don't like that stuff. I have ate a few peas and a few carrots in my time, not by choice. Very little broccoli and never an asparagus. I ate one and that was enough for me. I was like, oh no. And I walked away and everybody's just having a great, and they're telling me, oh, what a wonderful meal. And I'm thinking, yuck. I'm thinking, yuck. That ain't for me. And I walked walked away and I stopped at McDonald's or I stopped at Jack in the Box. We got me a little hamburger on the way home. But there was really good food there. You see, when you get to the Master's table, you're going to find just what you need and what you want, and God's going to fill you with it.
Amen.
And then, the hardest part is telling the host that, thank you for a good meal. I always try to let somebody else say that. It was just hard for me to do. He said, when one of those who reclined at the table with him heard this, he said to him, blessed, happy, fortunate to be envied is he who shall eat bread in the kingdom of God. Now, blessed is those that eat of the Master's table. You want to be blessed? Eat of the Master's table.
Amen.
That's right.
There's a table set with all kinds of healing for all kinds of diseases. You see, I got something nobody's ever heard of. Yeah, I've heard of it. It's right on the table. All you got to do is ask. Well, doctors told me nobody's ever had this disease before, and they're not sure what it is. And yeah, I said, God's heard of it. God knows about it.
Yes.
And it's set at the table. I said, it's set at the table. There's nothing that you need that is not at the table of the Master. But you've got to get up and come get it.
Amen.
Yes.
God's not going to spoon feed you. He's not going to set you down at the table and say, okay, open your mouth, here comes the airplane. He's not going to happen. Because you would probably do what my daughter would do. She'd open her mouth, and here comes the airplane, and about the time the airplane got there, she'd shut it. Huh? About the time God gets ready to pour something out on us, we just shut up. Draw up. Come on, I'm trying to help you this morning. I'm trying to help you this morning. Listen, there's nothing that God will not do for you. He will touch you. He will change you. He will cleanse you. He will wash you in the blood. He will fill you with the Holy Ghost. He will heal you. He will meet your financial needs. But they all alike began to make excuses and to beg off. And the first said, I have bought land and I have to go see it. I preached this one night and I said, who in the world is dumb enough to buy land and never see it? And a man raised his hand and he goes, my son. He just bought a bunch of acreage up in Hebrew and he's never seen it and he don't even know if it really exists because he bought it. It's the same way we reject God. It's the same thing. He said, oh, I bought land, I got to go see it. There was only one honest man in the whole bunch. We'll talk about him in a minute. And another said, I have bought 5 yoke of oxen, and I am going to examine and to put my approval on them. I beg you to have an excuse. You bought them? It's like buying a car before you drive it. And the other one, so the servant came, and another one said, and this is the only honest man in the bunch. He said, I have married me a wife, and I am unable to come. He's the only one that had to admit that his wife wouldn't let him go. He's the only one that told the truth. The honest to goodness truth. I married me a wife. All flimsy excuses. Brother J.O. Morgan from up at, he was pastored up in Medford, Oregon, but he always said this: an excuse is nothing more than the skin thin of a reason stuffed with a lie. He said that's what an excuse is. A thin skin of a reason stuffed with a lie. And if you really listen to a lot of excuses, if you dissect it, you can kind of see that into play. No, okay, I'm not really that long into it. But he said they all had excuses. Missing out on going to a place where they will probably never be invited again. The only time in their life they have ever been invited to go to royalty, to have dinner, and they made an excuse. Friend, don't make an excuse this morning. Whatever you need from God, step up and come and get it. I imagine some of them kind of made excuses because they felt like they wasn't worthy to go into a royal place for dinner. They felt like, I'm not worthy of that. I want to tell you something. Jesus made you worthy when he drew his last breath on the cross of Calvary. And I know everybody's talking about this being Palm Sunday, and this is before. I'm sorry I couldn't go that way this morning. What is Palm Sunday all about? What is Easter all about? It's about the table being spread. It's about what Jesus did for you and for me, making it possible for us to have him. He said by his stripes we are healed.
That's right.
Are. Not by his stripes you can be, or you might be, or it's a possibility. But he said, by my stripes ye are healed. Amen. He was wounded for your transgressions. He was bruised for your iniquities and our sins. But when he arose on that third day, the table was spread in splendor. My baby sister used to sing a song like that. I don't know what it was, but boy, I tell you what, she would stand and sing that song, and I'm telling you what, people will begin to weep before God. Because I see Jesus standing. I see him. When I need something, I see him. When I need something, I see Jesus. I don't look at who else is at the table. I don't look and think about, well, what's somebody else going to think about me if I ask God for that? I don't care. I need it. Some people are more concerned over somebody liking the socks they buy, or liking the color of their socks. Than they are about what Jesus did for them.
That's right.
They're more concerned about that than what Jesus did for them. The table is spread. Sister Bertha, would you come? Brother John, would you come? The table is spread this morning. I want you to raise your hand. I know there's several here. Because this is the one that gets everybody. How many cancer survivors are here this morning? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're back here? No. Don't tell me. Let me ask you this. How many of you are still free from cancer? Huh? You see, when God does, he does it right. How many of you need to be delivered from? same God. How many of you are survivors from heart disease? Am I getting through to you? How many of you have been set free by the power of God from sin? Do you need any more proof than that God is real? Do you need any more proof than that the table is spread? Would you stand with me this morning? Tell you something. There is nothing that God cannot do. There is nothing set at the banquet table that is not for your benefit. It is set there especially for you. You see, in every service, the table is set differently. Because God's not going to put a lot of stuff on there if there's nobody here that needs it. Are you with me? But He sets that table every service, and it's set with everything that every person in that congregation at that particular time needs. But it's up to us if we're going to come and eat from that table. Are we going to come and eat from that table? If you're here this morning, you're not saved, let me tell you something. There's a big old dish of salvation up here waiting for you. And you know what? It's flavored in love. I said it's flavored in love. And it has a sweet taste. It has a sweet taste. If you're here this morning and you need something from God, the table is set. If you walk through that door with a need, God knew you were coming, and what you have and what you need is at this altar. And if you walk away without it, you'll walk away hungry. God is real. If you need something from God, I want you to come to this altar. Come on. If you don't know the Lord, today is the day of salvation. It is set at the table. You need healing this morning? It's here. Come on, church. If you need healing, it's here. If you need something from God, it's here. I want you to come. We're going to pray for you. Come on, church, come in around and pray for this. Oh, God. Oh, God. God is here. Richard, I need you. Church, begin to pray. Brother John, begin to pray. Would you get the Lord? Oh, God, you see your heart, God. Oh, God, you see your heart. God, you know command them to go in the name of Jesus. Devil, you have no right here. Devil, you're under eviction. You're commanded to leave in the name of against Oh, serve, you gotta give it all to God. I don't care what it is, you gotta give it over to God. You give it to Him, He'll take it. If He has to run it for us, if He's God, right there. In the name of you ate from the table? Are you going to go away hungry, or have you got what you need?
Praise the Lord.
God's so good. I'll tell you something. I know y'all, some of you see me go over there and hug Ben's neck. She's like my own daughter. Met her 14 years ago and told her about Jesus. Never beat her up. But then I met her grandparents. And then I would see her and she'd be in a mess. And you know what I would say to her? Never preached to her. I always said this. What did your grandma and your grandpa teach you? If I said that to her once, I said it to her 500 times. What did grandma and grandpa teach you? This young man sitting back here, he's 4 years younger than I am. He said, this will be our home church. We grew up together. He went into drugs. He did 11 years in Florence, SMU 1. Maximum security. He did every day of it. He went in and did 9 years. And just before his release date, they come and they tried to tag a murder on him. And he spent 2 years defending himself, which he didn't do, so he spent 11 years. He's been a hard man. And I hadn't heard from him in years. And he found me on Facebook. We got reconnected. And I've been trying to get him to come to church. He has these massive headaches. And he texted me Thursday or Friday and he said, can you pray? I said, I'm going to pray, but you need to be in church on Sunday morning. I said, if you'll come to church Sunday morning, we'll pray for you. We prayed. He said, Leonard, we'll be back. This is going to be our church. He cannot take his shirt off in mixed company. That gives you a little bit of an idea what kind of tattoos is on his body. Deep into white supremacy in prison. But God saved him. God saved him. I said, I asked Jesus to forgive me. What the man spoke to me Friday night, and that sort of, I can't tell you what it was. I told my son-in-law, I said, you got to record it. Would you write it down and give it to me? Because I can't remember. I was sober now. But that's what he told me was going to happen. It's going to happen. I don't know about you, but I'm just overjoyed at what God is doing. You see, this young man and this young lady right here, realize 3 people saved this morning. That's 9 people out of from this church in 2 weeks. Thank God. Thank God. They haven't all been here. But the prayers, folks, God's moving. He's moving. Well, I want to read this from Sister Williams, and then I want to take just a couple minutes to talk to you, and then I know it's only 12. So. I got you for a half hour. I'm just kidding. other night. He said, I just need 10 more minutes. Can I get 10 more minutes? He said, yeah. He said, how many people will give me 10 minutes? About 10 people raised their hand. He goes, I got 10 from you, 10 from you. I said, oh man, I got 200 minutes to go. Said Pastor Grammer, Ladies Department, to everyone from Mountain of Life Church, thank you for your prayers, your kind words, flowers, visits, calls, and for all the delicious food that was provided. Thank you to those who visited Ricky at the hospital and those who attended his funeral. Your support, your help helped us get through this difficult time. Pastor, words cannot express our gratitude for everything you did for us, from being there from the beginning of everything to his end. Thank you for helping us with Ricky's celebration of life service. Your message was heard by so many and touched so many lives. We will forever be grateful for your kindness and love. With love, much love, Sister Angie Williams and Alice Parson. I would like to say to Sister Williams, it was our privilege to be there for her. One of the pastors at the conference come up to me, and he says to me, he said, man, he said, I try to keep up with you. He said, I can't keep up with you in all the places you go. I said, that's all right. He goes, no, I'm serious. He said, do you know how good that makes me feel? To be able to see that there's somebody out there. Somebody out there, folks. I don't do it. I don't do it to be seen. I don't do it to boast or to brag, folks. That's not. You know what? When somebody's landed, the young man that was in the hospital I prayed for last Monday night, that his dad and him and his dad both got saved. They got up this morning to come to church, and every one of them was sick with the stomach virus, and they were just doubling over and throwing up. And the wife called me. Now, I've never talked to her. I've only met her one time in my life. I've known her husband since we were 6, 7 years old. I've never met his wife. She called this morning. She goes, Pastor, please pray. She said the whole family was going to come this morning, but we're all sick. Just a trick of the enemy. But when I, so remember this. If you need somebody, if you need me, I'll go. I don't care, I'll go. Because it might be the means of somebody slipping out of eternity, either lost or saved. And so, but God is blessing us, and I appreciate it. And I thank Brother Bertha and Sister John. Now, there you go. Brother John and Sister Bertha and Richard over here. No. I appreciate them helping us out and did a great job with the worship and music. And I tell you what, it was a beautiful service. And I tell you what, it was a toss-up as to who was the most there or Brother Ford. And two of the biggest services I've ever done. And I was so privileged to be able to be there. Now let's pray for some of those that were in that service. Like I said, some of them, Sister Annie's brother told me when I left, he says, I'm going to come see you. We're going to come. One of these days we're going to come. I believe he's going to do it. And so anyway, real quickly, I just want to see, we're going to, this revival coming up in 2 weeks on Friday and Saturday night, we're going to need some help. Now, we're going to be serving hot dogs from 4 to 5:30 on Saturday. Now, Richard is going to bring me his flyer so I can get some made. Is it? Woo-hoo, I didn't know that. Oh, that's what you went home to get, wasn't it? Now, he's catching up and he's rubbing off on him. But we're gonna have flyers. Pearlie made us one. We're gonna have a whole bunch of flyers. Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. If you could go and help pass out flyers, we want to start from Dysart this way to Sunny, where the Sunny Lane down there, and we want to go all the way from back behind us all the way to Greenway. This is our targeted area. We want to make sure every house gets a flyer. And then, after that, if they're not worn out completely, I'd like to go over to the park over here, Surprise Park by the police station. That's a Saturday before Easter. That place will be packed. And a chance to hand out lots of flyers. If we're going to grow, we got to go out there and let them know we're in here. And now, we were going to, I thought about, well, what we're going to do is we're going to, I thought about getting a lot of guest outside singers coming, but if you don't mind, I changed my mind a little bit on that. Now we may have some, but I changed my mind for the simple fact if some people shows up and maybe they like some of the outside people, and then they come back and they find out they're not here, they might be disappointed.
Yes.
You know, so we will use some from outside. I'm not saying that, but we want to so that way when they come back, they see familiar faces. Does that make sense? Or is that just maybe off my rocker? So, but we are going to put it on Facebook. We're not going to advertise the hot dogs on Facebook, but we are going to advertise the revival on Facebook. And so once it's put up, then if you go and share it with people. And but we're going to need some help Friday, bringing out chairs and amplifiers and different things, and getting things out there. And so if you can come and help Friday. And the hot dogs, we're going to need hot dogs. I don't know how many to get. I'll probably just go to Sam's Club and buy the hot dogs. The church will just provide the hot dogs and the buns.
I'll try to get the buns.
Okay. Well, we'll get the hot dogs, and then the big boxes of the chips that you get like at Costco or them, a little bit. We're going to need several boxes of those, and water. We're not going to do soda. We're not going to do punch and all that kind of stuff. We're just going to do bottled water and hot dogs and chips. But we want to get that out. I'm going to try to get a banner made up and shipped this week that we can put out next week. I don't want to put any dates on it because if we want to do this again sometime, we can just stick it up out there on a Monday and advertise it all week out there. So try to get that done as soon as possible. So Cindy, Cindy and the ladies, I guess, to let them work on the hot dog situation, organizing that, and then on Saturday we'll leave the chairs out overnight. I don't think anybody will bother. You know, I may just bring a cot and sleep in there. I don't know. Got nice and cool in there anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, we want to make this thing. And Sister Williams is going to be doing. She's going to be translating in Spanish, and so she's going to be singing some songs in Spanish, and we're going to be doing the congregational songs, and you know, we'll sing them both in English and Spanish at the same time.
Amen.
It ain't gonna hurt. And let's reach this neighborhood for God. Let's let them know we're here. I talked to the people out in the front trailer over there, and said, "What kind of music?" I said, "Well, Christian music." He said, "Well, what do you mean by well, I said, "Well, it's kind of country." She goes, "Oh, I like my George and Reba." That's exactly how she said it. "Oh, I like my George and Reba." So, you know, I said, "Well, you know what? We're going to have some of that kind of music. Only the words are going to be different to the song. That's a little different." But anyway, so let us know what you can do, how you can be here. I'll be over here probably Friday all day. I want to make sure, just making sure we get things lined up. But if the ladies could take over the organizing the food and that sort of thing, I'll pick up the hot dogs. We'll just kind of figure out, take a guess. We can stick them in the freezer if we don't use them all. But I'm expecting something great from this outdoor meeting. I really am. I'm expecting to reach out, and people are going to know that we're here, and they're going to get to know. See, if they can see on the outside what goes on the inside, it might entice them to come to the inside. But they really don't know what goes on in here. And they don't know what kind, you know, I mean, once in a while, like we kick the door open for them and give them a little taste of it once in a while. But they really don't know how we are. And you know what? We should let them know what we are and how we are. Let them know how we worship. So they don't, that way when they show up on a Sunday morning, they don't go, oh my goodness, they're making all of this noise. They prepare them for that, all right? So anyway, be in much prayer about the service that weekend, and be back tonight at 6 o'clock. Yep. We do have Sunday night service, it starts at 6. It's 12:12, so I better shut up. My dad said one morning, I gotta shut up, I'm gonna burn somebody's roast. He got home and he burned, my mom had burned her to a crisp. He burned his own roast and did his own dinner. So anyway, all right, would you stand with us? Isn't God good? Man, I tell you what a service, what a service. Sister Williams, would you dismiss us in prayer?